Good evening. This is meteorologist Stephen DiMartino providing a special update on the potential for severe weather tomorrow morning with the passage of a very strong cold front that is currently over the Ohio River Valley. This cold front has produced tornadoes, unfortunately, hail, very strong wind gusts, very heavy rainfall, frequent lightning. It's basically produced a significant severe weather outbreak, severe thunderstorm outbreak from Illinois on through the Ohio River Valley, and is rapidly moving towards the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So what can we expect and why? Well, here is the latest radar. You can see that line of thunderstorms. This line right here is what we're going to be watching for early tomorrow morning between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. As this cold front moves through, this powerful line of thunderstorms will drive through the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, producing very heavy downpours, frequent lightning, and strong wind gusts. But there is some good news, and we're going to show that in just a moment. First, here's our surface map. You can see that cold front is already cutting through central Ohio and well on its way to approaching Pennsylvania. Will be off the New Jersey coast by roughly 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it's going to be moving pretty fast as this low pressure system, which has continued to intensify, continue to lift up into southeastern Canada. As far as the temperatures are concerned, if you haven't realized it for whatever reason, it is very warm outside with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. We have some fog developing over the New York City metropolitan area. These low clouds and fog is an important indicator of what the atmosphere is like right now, which basically means the surface right now is what we call stable. That's what supports these low clouds. And that is a very important observation as this cold front drives through the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Another important observation is the increase in surface winds as we get closer to this cold front, ranging anywhere from about 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained at the surface before this cold front moves through. Winds shift to the west and we increase that to 20 to 30 miles per hour. So it's going to be a very windy morning and very windy afternoon as this cold front blows through the region and temperatures fall through the day tomorrow. On the water vapor satellite picture, this is interesting. See this disturbance right here? Look at where all the reds are shifting towards. First, they're just pile driving right through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, but you're starting to see more of a shift towards Ontario, a shift towards Quebec. Why is this important? Well, what's happening here is that this upper level low is starting to lift north and east rather than driving due east. And that is very important because that means the best dynamics in lifting aloft is starting to shift more towards the eastern Great Lakes, towards the Mohawk River Valley, northern New York, and the St. Lawrence River Valley over here in southeastern Canada. So if the best dynamics are moving away from the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, that means these thunderstorms will not be quite as intense as what we are seeing in the Ohio River Valley, and that's always a good thing for our neck of the woods. On the infrared satellite picture, you can see there's plenty of lifting going on here, but notice where all the coldest cloud tops are starting to focus more towards. They're starting to collapse along the coast, and there's clearly a stronger focus of lifting towards Ontario, towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, and away from the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan areas. So let's take a look at the latest observations at 850 millibars. This is another key important observation. We're going to zoom in here and notice the winds in in western Pennsylvania and Ohio are basically 50, 60, 65, 70, one up to 80 knots. Now, why is this important? Well, there's a potential for these strong wind gusts to mix down towards the surface. And that's where our strong wind gust is going to come from. Basically, this strong 850 millibar jet is going to get mixed down and tapped by the low top thunderstorms that are going to move through the region early this coming morning. Now, this is the latest RAP model guidance that we have as of, about 8 o'clock. And it's currently 8:20. And I'm using the RAP to basically forecast this mesoscale event because it's handling the dynamics currently in place the best. Now, this again is from twisterdata.com. So as we look at the model guidance, we see that the best potential for the showers and thunderstorms to blow through the region basically is around 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. By the time we get to 7 a.m., those thunderstorms and those showers are well off the coast. So the early morning rush hour is going to be impacted the most by these showers and thunderstorms. Now, a couple of interesting observations to pull up here. First, let's look at 500 millibar relative vorticity. A very important observation. Now, remember I said that the best dynamics looks to be shifting towards the St. Lawrence River Valley? Well, we see that very clearly in the model guidance. See that vorticity lifting right up into the Great Lakes and away from the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Now, you see how these lines spread out here by early tomorrow morning? That means there's what's called diffluence and divergence aloft. So there will be some lifting at 500 millibars. Just the strongest lifting is going to be focused more towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, Lake Ontario, northern New York, than it will towards New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or the New York City metropolitan area. But there's another factor to consider, and that would be the strong winds I was talking about. And look at this as far as the wind gusts. By the time, let's move to roughly 08Z, which is roughly about 3 to 4 a.m. Now look what we have here. We have a very strong wind field at that time period, around 60 knots. That is pretty strong. And the concern here is that some of those winds are going to be able to get mixed down towards the surface and produce some very strong wind gusts early this coming morning. So don't be surprised if you wake up and you don't have any power and your alarm clock is blinking because you have a power outage due to these strong wind gusts. And as you move on later on in the morning, let's say towards the heart of the rush hour, we have another jet streak moving through 850 millibars as that cold front moves through, thus producing the potential for some windy conditions, say around 7 to 8 a.m. So it's going to be pretty nasty out there with these lines of thunderstorms rapidly moving through. And again, because of the speed of the thunderstorms moving through, combined with the strong wind gusts, that could lead to damaging wind gusts early tomorrow morning. And just to kind of get a view of the atmosphere from a vertical position here we are at the surface, and then here's 850 millibars. So notice something very important here. Remember when I talked to you about the fog? Well, this right here is a sign, and I'll zoom in here. Early this coming morning, this is about 4 a.m., of a very stable atmosphere. When you see the temperatures like this is the dew point, and these are the temperatures. So right here at the surface, it's highly saturated, which means that we're dealing with fog here, and it's a stable atmosphere up to about, let's say, I give it about 950 millibars, and then it becomes marginally unstable, okay? So this is not a sounding that would suggest widespread severe weather, but it does support the potential for some of these winds to get mixed down towards the surface and produce some wind damage. So brief period of heavy rainfall. Most people, by the time they wake up, this is done and over with. Again, when we look at the radar here, it's a fast moving system. This is just booking. So by the time we get to the end of this forecast period, by the time we get to even 8, 9 a.m., we're going to be clearing out, and most of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area will be dry, and in the afternoon hours, it will be clearing skies. So the heart and the heaviest rainfall likely will be from 1 a.m. on through about 5 a.m., and then we start to clear out from west to east and survey any damage that may have occurred. That is your update tonight for the severe weather threat. Of course, I'll be keeping an eye on this threat, and if any updates need to be made, I will be there to make them. Of course, as always, thank you for following NYNJPA Weather, and as always, stay safe out there.